Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a quick app critic, and I got some comments in the past that like what are some content for future videos you guys want to see, and this is one of the suggestion. Like it's probably helpful to take a look at how to do a app critic as part of the UX design interview. So it's quite common that you might be asked to do a app critic as part of the UX interviewing process, and most of the case the interviewer will pick the app on live, and so you can prep like in advance, but most of the case you won't know what app will be picked at that point. But there are a lot of things you can actually practice in advance to try to get familiar about the structure, because most of the time I think the timing it range from, it can goes from 30 minutes to an hour, but you want to have a strategy like how you want to organize and structure your conversation. Like yes, it's supposed to be it's the purpose of this app critic exercise is really for the interviewer to get understand what's your thinking process, and also how do you work together with your teammates, like how do you take feedback or give feedback at the same time, be able to like communicate your thinking process clearly. So don't worry too much about like what if there's a right answer or not, because the point is really not to like there's not really not supposed to be a right or wrong answer type of question. It's meant to be a very much a open conversation, and so you want to keep the conversation engaging with the interviewer. It's not a presentation. The more you can make it more of a conversation, the better the flow it usually goes. So a couple of suggestions I will mention kind of along the way, but just to give a quick high-level summary is to start an app critic, the first thing is I think you want to communicate a couple of status. For example, what is the device you're using, whether it is an iOS phone or Android, or basically, what is the device you're using. Most of the case you will be doing the app critics on a video call, while communicating what do you think as you walk through the app step by step. And also feel free to like ask the interviewer questions like, how do you feel about this, like what's your thoughts about that, and as my to try to get some feedback. The other advice I have is, it's always helpful, I think, to have a framework similar to whiteboard, challenging, or any kind of those design exercise. I know it can be pretty daunting because it's part of probably the most stressful part of an interview, because you won't know about the actual subject until you're on the spot. So the best thing you can do, I think, is to have your own framework. For example, you might want to, this is purely like personal opinion, like how I usually do it. So when I do the app critics, usually I want to give a high level overview once you open the app. Make sure your interviewer has it also ready. Kind of just talk through a high level. How do you feel the dashboard look like? What are the main navigations look to you? And before diving into any details. And once you have that high level overview, you can pick, say, one of the key feature to dive in more details about that. And as you're like diving into more like those granular level, like how you think the app is, what works well or what doesn't work well, feel free to also ask the interviewer, like say for example there are 5 different main tabs on the dashboard of the app. You probably don't have time to go through every single one. The interviewer might ask you like feel free to pick whichever you want to dive deeper in, but also you can like ask the interviewer, shall we, I think the search is a really important feature in this app. How about let's take a look at that. You can suggest, but always, try to get some feedback and get an interview engaged as well. So you can work together through this app critics like a team projects. Another suggestion I have is try to time it in a way that you can kind of cover the app critics from different perspectives. As a UX designer, there are really important lenses involved in your everyday job. For example, how the architecture, the structure of the app look like. What is the problem this app is trying to solve? Who are the users? And is that solving the problems of the key users? And from the main flow, for example, if you're tackling like how to search a restaurant and order like takeout or delivery on an app, and you can, for example, go through this one main task or customer user journey and identify how the overall user flow work, and how do you think that the main like steps involved, like is this app doing a good job on the overall like structure level. And the second lens you probably want to touch about is the interaction side. What are some of the interactions that you think is working well, and what are something that you think can get improved. And then you can talk also like from the visual perspective, like is it doing a good job in like communicating the visual hierarchy? Is it too busy showing like overwhelming information in one screen? Does it have a clear indication what the user that can help the user the best to make the decision at a certain point? So those are, from IA information architecture to interactions to UI to visual elements. Those are some, I think some of the points that you would want to hit during this app critic. So those are, I think, the most important things that I got to learn in the past, that top tips I want to share with you. So now let's take a look and want to just do like an exercise today. What matters the most is the interactions and the perspectives you are sharing with the interviewer, that to understand your thinking process and how you communicate your thoughts. Okay, so the app, we're gonna do an app critique for an exercise today. I'm gonna just pick one that I have been trying lately. It's the IKEA app, not the store app, but IKEA Place. So it's actually an AR app. So if you have it on your phone, perfect. If not, you can go to the App Store and download. It's called IKEA Place. Once you have the app downloaded on your phone, let's just open it together. So I am looking at it on my iPhone today. So if you're looking at an Android version, it might have slight different experience, but just a heads up. So let's open the app. Cool. Looks like it's showing me just a camera view once I have the app successfully loaded on my phone. So let's see what else we have on the screen. It looks like there are basically three main tabs on here. We have a home icon, we have a grid icon, and there's something looks like probably more of a user profile. To start with, let's just take a look at what's on the home page, the dashboard. So on home, nice for you, looks like there are some nice recommendations from our favorites, Light and Bright, different like home decor post on the home page, and then followed by some inspirations of furniture suggestions. So before diving into that, I think overall I like the look and feel. Is very simple, modern, which echoes well with IKEA's brand image here. From visual standpoint, I think it's done pretty well. Do you notice like the size of the image is kind of different? Some are like square, some has more of a portrait vertical mode. And the interesting stuff, another interesting observation is, I noticed some of the tags here. For example, the subject line, light and bright, our favorite is positioned below the image versus here try at home playtime. This is like text placed over on top of the images. Some is kind of not as easy to read here, so I wonder there might be things we can do to further improve the structure and make it more consistent, as well as easy to read for users. Now let's take a look at what else we have on this app. So I'm going to tap on the center icon, which looks like a great view of 4 squares. Oh, okay, cool. Browse. And looks like there are some subtabs under browse, which are collections, categories, and room sets. So quickly go over collections. Those names doesn't really, make much sense to me, but I'm assuming those are the different collections name, symphonisk and cubic. Like I am guessing those are the collections name for the different furnitures or home decoration stuff. So I guess if I'm interested on any of those, I can just tap into and find out more about those specific selections. And switching to categories, cool. This is, I think, useful. Actually, if I'm looking for example, accent chair, I can come over here, find probably within armchairs, I guess. I see there are dining tables, desk, outdoor furnitures, different categories that I can tap in and browse more. So overall, I think it's pretty intuitive what this page is designed for. However, I do wish, I think it would be easier to have a search function. If I know I'm looking for a specific chair, a piece of accent chair, it probably will be way easier for me to find that item rather than try to browse and found it from the categories. So the last tab here is called room sets, experiences to try. Interesting. Calm and comfortable. Oh, I like the bright yellow color chairs. Gather around the table. Cool. So it looks to me those are more probably inspirations, towards different themes or styles. What I'm curious is, I was my assumption why I hear this is an IKEA place. I read it in one of those articles saying this is an AR try-on app that you can kind of, if you find a furniture or something you really like from the IKEA store, from my understanding, this is something you can actually try how it looks at your home. So so far, we'll take a quick look of the main structure, the home, grid. The last one, just a quick look. Okay, profile. There you go. You can save. I think this is basically where you can save the furnitures you like into a wish list, and collections you might like. This is more of a, I guess, recommendations based on what you have browsed or you have liked. So more critic on the home page. Home is usually, I think, from the overall impression from a user's point of view, this is basically where I should be able to find the most useful information. But from how the dashboard is designed, it looks to me it's more of like a, it's more like a digital magazine, if you will. It's kind of recommendations, recommendations of let's try it, like what happens. I wonder if it is article. Oh, there you go. Okay, so I tap on light and bright, and it opens up to this page for more furnitures involved in this theme. So yeah, I guess it's good for inspirations if I really like this picture. For example, I love plants a lot, so living and working side by side, which is what I guess a lot of us are doing, how we're living our life today. So tapping on this and see what's going on. Yeah, it take me to a page that shows more like furnitures that I think or lamps, accessories that are used in this picture, so I can shop those items from there. So I guess it is, it's good for browsing if I don't have any specific furnitures or specific items that I'm looking for. This is good and helpful, I think, for, seeking for inspirations or just browse and carol browsing to discover things that I might like. But if I have a clear goal that I like the chair, or I like something like a rug, how do I find it? It doesn't seem like it provides that option from the homepage. So what we have looked in the past few minutes, I'm guessing where I need to go. Say for example, I just really want to find accent chair. I don't know how exactly it should look, but I have some overall idea that I like some probably modern looking, bright color. So I guess where I'm gonna go is probably browse. So let's take a look. So as with that user mindset, how about let's take a look at how that journey would look like. So say I'm looking for that accent chair, so I will probably go to browse, and from browse, what I typically expect is hopefully there is a search function, so I can just tap in like accent chair. Without that being available, I'm just gonna go to categories. So I think that's probably the other, like the easiest way to locate accent chair. So once I go into categories, there are sofas, armchair. I don't know, where should I go into to find accent chair? Looks like the most relevant one is probably armchairs, although I'm not necessarily looking for armchairs, but with the options presented, I'm gonna tap into armchairs. One quick observation on this page, I think, the logic, the flow is clear. You go into categories, there are different sections per furniture types, but I think one critique I have here is the image has a very strong style over here. If I'm just looking for armchairs, what if this chair, the picture it shows is not something that I like? It can cause the user a little bit like confusion, like, oh, should I keep browsing? Or is there something I should just tap into and browse more? There are probably 10,000 different styles available there. A different approach I've seen in other like similar type of furniture store, online shopping store or apps is usually it's communicated in more of a simple icon. You can use an icon or more illustrations, a bit more abstract rather than a super specific image that talks too much about the style and detail that's probably not necessary on this level, because all you're trying to do here is to guide a user through what categories they should choose to find and move forward. So tapping into armchairs, cool, looks like there are quite some options here, and just by browsing, I'm looking for something simple. Oh, I like this blue armchair. This is nice. Yeah, I don't have a lot of space, so I wonder if that's gonna fit my space. So let's just try this out, because this rocking chair looks really cute. And okay, now this icon at the bottom right looks like something relates to three-dimensional or AR view. So I'm guessing this is where I can probably tap to view more how it looks in the space. But just quick glance overall on this page, there's the picture of the item. I wish there are more pictures. Looks like there's only one. And and then followed by price. I guess then there's the item number. There's not really much details about materials and product details, what I usually see their main website. So I'm gonna try this icon, tap on that. Cool, it shows me this little circle as I move my phone, tilt it. So I'm guessing I can place it over here. So I'm gonna try that. What happens on here? Again, like over here, I wish there's some tips, tax tips to just guide me what I'm supposed to do. But I'm just, since there's no, looks like there's no assistant, I'm just gonna go with my instinct. So I'm gonna put it here, tap the check mark and see what's happened. Ooh, that's a huge chair. Can I move it? Is that the right scale? Okay, I'm just playing it around. Looks like by putting your finger, two finger double, with two fingers on top and one finger move around, it allows you to rotate it. I'm gonna move back a little bit, but still looks like the chair, okay, now it's floating in the air, maybe because I was trying to rotate it. So let's try. Cool. So once I tap on the check mark, it land the chair on the floor. Looks like this chair is definitely too big for my little corner space. But yeah, this looks like it's the AR app. What does it do? It's pretty coul, right? Like at least I think it helped me get a sense of how this color, how the material, how the look and feel of this chair fit in my space. But a couple of thoughts, like one is, okay, looks like I can still move it around. I can move it back a little bit. Yeah, one thing I really wish that it can help me a lot is to provide some like dimensions, to have some marks about like what is the height, what is the width, what's the depth, to help me. That can, I think, help me a lot to have a better idea of whether this piece of furniture can fit in my space. To me, like what we have looked, I think it helps me to gather a sense of the color and the look more from that perspective, but more not from the sizing, and also like how to move it around. Like right now by tapping on it, it opens the circle again, and before that shows up, you can't really rotate it. I kind of just figured it out by tapping around. I think it would be really helpful to have some guidance, tips, like to help the user understand, like step by step, you can do what and use what gesture or interactions to control and adjust the position and the tilt of this piece of furniture. So I think that's really my observation. And also, like another step from here. Now I try this chair. I really like the look. From this page, there's not really much information, right? Like other than, if I tap on that, there's a floating text you can barely see on the top left. It's the name of the product and the price. Yeah, I think the option of the heart is something that I can save it to my wish list. But can I shop? Can I buy it, put it in my shop cart directly from here? It doesn't seem like I have an option to do that. So yeah, I think, from the business point of view, maybe the app is more in the testing early stage to get users feedback, but eventually I think it makes a lot of sense for IKEA to tie this app directly with the shopping experience. So once the user sees something they like, they can easily purchase it online. So from what I see here, if I really like this chair, doesn't look like I can put in a shopping cart. So what I will have to do is probably take a note of the name and the item number and try to find it again from the IKEA store. So yeah, that's something that I think really important is to kind of close the loop from discover browse, consideration, and then making purchase, it'll be really helpful, I think, to for the enable the user, give the user the option, be able to like purchase without living the core experience. There are definitely a lot more that we can talk about in this app. Definitely like feel free to leave me any comments, like what you think about this quick critique exercise. So that's all I have for today. Don't forget to subscribe my channel UV321 so you can keep updated to upcoming videos that I post on my channel. And also feel free to leave me any comments if you have any suggestions or things that you would like to hear about, and I would really appreciate it. So I will see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye.